video. Okay, yeah, I'm not posting that because that picture was it. Never mind. Okay. All right, so we're walking through the process of doing a public speech. We've gone back. We've talked about the first thing you do when you're picking your topic, how to pick a topic, how to, speaker, occasion, audience. We've talked about audience analysis. We've talked about how to focus from a general topic to a general purpose to identifying your specific topic. Everybody remembers all of this, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Then we talked about how we do research, and I'm taking up all of your desk. In case you need to move around a little bit. You got an extra 4 inches. Okay? All right? So now we're going to start talking about, we've even talked about how we organize our ideas, right? And it doesn't make any difference if you're doing informative problem solution or persuasive speech. You organize them all the same way, right? And we've talked about where you get your ideas and how to do research and how you're going to use that research to build your ideas. Everybody remember all of this? Okay? Well, now we're getting to the point where we're actually going to deliver the speech. Okay? Everybody with me? Doesn't make any difference. We even talked about the 4 methods of delivery, right? Everybody remember those? They were, no, those are purposes. What are the 4 methods? Reading a manuscript, impromptu. No, not persuasive. No. Memorizing. And extemporaneous, which is what we're going to do in here. Okay? So what we're about to talk about should not make any difference whether or not you're doing an impromptu speech, you're reading a manuscript, speaking extemporaneously, or speaking from memory. Okay? The nonverbals and how you deliver a speech is exactly the same all the way through. Everybody with me? Okay, all right. 3 things you need in every speech when you deliver. Number 1, you need to be conversational. What does that mean, conversational?
So they can maybe ask questions, you can't interrupt you. Easy to understand.
Okay, both right. It's a less formal and easy to understand. Okay?
Allows for more feedback.
Yeah, sorta. It allows for, you should always have feedback. Okay? But how do you talk to, I want you to think about the difference between, have you ever been pulled over?
Yeah.
How do you talk to the officer? Yeah, good day. Yeah, good day, officer. How can I help you? Okay, Mr. Trock, since you seem to have the most experience, well, you're the one that spoke up. Okay, I said, do you know what you've been pulled over for? Why, no, officer. I don't believe I do. Did you realize you were going 8 miles over the posted speed limit? I have to be completely honest with you, officer. I didn't notice. Okay, is that normal talk? No. Okay. Conversation is when you get together and you're just exchanging information, okay? You're using that formality and that formalized language with that officer to try to keep from looking like you're guilty, okay? Everybody understand that? It's a bulwark against you admitting, well, when you say, what, do you realize you were going 8 miles over the posted speed limit? You say, why, no, officer, I did not realize that, which is what you say, but what you're really thinking is, wow, only 8? Yeah. Who knew? Okay? Conversational is less formal. Okay? There's no need to use a $2 word when a 50-cent word will do. All right? People always get up here, and I see people a lot of times get up here, and they think, well, and I talk to them, I've engaged them, I've talked to them in class, I've met them outside of class, and they just speak like normal human beings. Okay? And they get up here, and the first thing they do is say, today I'm here to elucidate on the idea, okay? What? Okay? Be conversational. Talk to people like you're having 22 separate individual conversations. And think about the way you talk with your friends. Okay? Talk to your audience just like you would with a friend. Use the same vocabulary. Maybe not all the same vocabulary. Let's be honest. Okay? I walk up and down these halls. Okay? All right, number 2. Be animated. And I don't mean like, Looney Tunes. What do I mean when I say be animated? Be lively. Have some energy. Okay? Nothing will put an audience to sleep more than a speaker who gets up here and goes, "Hey, today I'm here to talk to you about a topic that I care about a great deal, that's very interesting to me, and is the center of my life and existence as I know it. What I want to talk to you about today is frogs." Frogs. You're like sitting there going, dude, if this is how bored you are with this topic, how do you think it is to be us? Okay? Listening to you talk about it. Everybody understand what I'm saying? Okay? This helps me be animated. It's coffee. When I say coffee, I mean bourbon. But no, that's a joke. That's a joke, okay? Going out on YouTube and drinking bourbon, okay? Well, yeah, last. Act like you care. Okay? Act like you care about the topic. Act like you care that the audience understands the topic. Act like you understand, you're paying attention to the feedback they're giving. Do you have to care?
No.
No, but act like you care. Okay? It's not important to care. It's important to make your audience think you care. Okay? And eventually, if you fake it till you make it, you will begin to care about what the audience thinks. Okay? For those of y'all who don't like public speaking, who haven't done public speaking before, your first speech up here, your informative speech in 2 weeks, you are going to have to act like you care about the audience because you're really going to be focused internally. I get that. Okay? It's that next leap when you begin to say, okay, I'm not going to throw up. I'm not going to pass out. I'm not going to burst into flames. Okay? Then you begin to notice the audience. So until then, act like you care. There's a lot of different ways we can show that we act like we care, and we'll talk about it in just a minute. Okay, one of the biggest ways is eye contact. Okay? Everybody understand these three things? Be conversational, be animated, and act like you care. This is the first step. Okay? And we're going to talk about how you make that happen. Now, there's been a ton of research on the effects of delivery on speeches. The key one was done by a guy named Bettinghouse. He tested 4 combinations: good speaker, good content; bad speaker, good content; good speaker, bad content; bad speaker, bad content. Okay? Everybody get that? So let's set up a little graph here. Bad speaker. Good speaker. Bad content. Good content. See, this slide while I can, having my arm free because I can actually think of things on the fly. I've never done it like this before. Okay, all right. Ooh, this is a brand new marker. This is going to be exciting for me. Okay? I don't know that I'd applaud, but yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, watch it not work. Okay? All right, so let's try to rank these and who is going to be the most persuasive. You've got bad speaker, good speaker, bad content, good content. Who do you think is going to be the most persuasive?
Good speaker and good content.
Good speaker, good content, so you're going to give this a number 1 down here. Okay? Who do you think is going to be the least persuasive?
Bad speaker, bad content.
Bad speaker with bad content. Okay, we're now left with number 2 and 3. Good speaker with bad content. Bad speaker with good content.
I say number 2, good speaker with bad content.
Yeah.
Okay, you think that a good speaker with bad content is going to be more persuasive than a bad speaker with good content. You think the audience is going to overlook the content and focus just on the delivery of the speech.
No. Yeah.
Yes.
Mainly if they're hungry.
Okay, we've got one voice of dissent.
No, I agree 100%.
Okay, well, unfortunately,
I'm wrong. Calvin, can you heard Hitler?
wow. The first guy that goes to Hitler in the class, that's stop. Let's not bring Hitler up again. Okay, I'm the only guy that gets to bring up Hitler in class. Okay, let's just keep that out there. That way nobody gets in trouble. Okay, and I have to go, Hitler, really? Okay, all right. What Bettenhouse's research found was that if you're a good speaker, you can get away with bad content, at least in the short term. Okay? Does everybody understand what I'm saying? Because a lot of people will sit there and go, well, yeah, I know I'm not a good speaker. And I've heard people actually say that in front of an audience. I'm not a very good speaker. I don't like public speaking. And that's I guess, their attention device. And when I've actually spoken to them about it, they say, well, it builds rapport. No, it says you're about to waste my time. Okay? But they will overlook bad content in favor of a good speaker. Okay? Now, what everybody just, I have had students that looked at me and have said, well, what you just said is I don't have to worry about content. No, because the person you may be trying to counter-persuade against may be a good speaker with good content, in which case you're screwed. Okay? Does everybody understand? I give you this simply to set up the idea that delivery is incredibly important. Okay? Everybody understand that? All right? So let's start talking about how we do good delivery. Okay. You should, first part of delivery, good delivery, is knowing your topic. Okay? These are my notes. We're going to discuss them more in detail next week. Okay? These are my notes for an informative speech that lasted 6 minutes. 5 minutes, 58 seconds. I've got, I think, 6 sources that I cited. Okay? What do you notice about these 2 note cards? They're different colors that attract my eye fairly quickly.
They're neat.
They're fairly neat.
Organized.
They're organized. I've got little bullet points. Okay? What else do you notice about them?
They're full.
Are they, though?
They're not full sentences.
Write your whole speech down.
There's a lot of white space on there, isn't there? Okay? So, and I don't keep a copy. I would bring up copies of some of the speeches I've seen where literally the entire back side and front side of 2 4x6 note cards is covered with text, handwritten. They've written out their entire speech. Okay? In this, I've identified key words, okay? But I haven't written out. There's not a complete sentence on these note cards. In fact, most of I got a phrase. I guess I did. I do have one complete sentence on here.
Is it quote?
How did it become official? That's a complete sentence because it's a question. I'm looking at it. Yeah, there's no complete sentences on here. There's just key words to key me to ideas. That theoretically, if I know a topic well enough to stand up here and talk to you about it, should I need to read word for word?
No.
I would hope not. If I've got a quote, maybe. Okay? Second thing about my notes. You'll notice that I've got them numbered. Card number 1, card number 2. Then you flip it over. Card number 3, card number 4. Okay? How many times have you seen people giving a speech and they start doing this number? Just because they're nervous.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't seen it, I'm willing to bet you will in this class. Okay? You'll see people who will shuffle their cards and then they'll look down and they can't believe they're not exactly where they were when they left them. Okay? And then what do you have to do next? Yeah, and if you don't have them numbered, you're like, okay. All right? Also, how do I have it? Did I write them out this way?
No.
No, I stood them on end and wrote this way. Why would you do it like this instead of like that? What? What?
That's how you're used to reading.
That's how you're used to reading? Okay, that's true. I never even thought about that. What else? More
Short, so it's a short point.
Yeah, since you're only writing key words, you're not going to go to the end of the line and come back except for very rarely. This gives you more lines to fill in. Okay? Here's something else you probably never thought of. If I hold my card like this, where's my card when I'm talking? Where's that card? It's in front of me, right? Is it a barrier between me and my audience? If I'm holding it like this, where's my card? It's flat, it's out of the way. People aren't going to notice it as much. But when I do gesture, does it not make my arm longer? Does it not add emphasis to my gestures without me doing anything at all?
Yeah.
People know these things, okay? And I also do it, just to let you know, I do 1, 2, 3, 4. So when I get up to start my speech, I have my cards. I always use my cards in my right hand. I usually keep my left hand in my pocket, although I do bring it out in order to gesture, okay? But I keep it like this, and then when I need, in the first, I just flip them like that, which is quick and easy. Nobody notices when you do that, right? It's just very simple. You realize you're at the bottom of your first card. Nobody's going to mind if you look at your note cards and glance and see where you're at, or if you got a figure you need to quote. And then when you need to switch cards, you just do that. And then when I need to go to 2 to 3, I just do that, and I'm already on my third note card. Okay? Most people want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, but then you're flipping cards around all over the place. Do 1, 2, 3, 4. That way you can go, when you need to switch your cards the first time, it's that simple. When you need to go to your third note card, it's just that simple. You go to your fourth, it's just like that. It's 3 moves to go between cards. If you've got them all in, it's like 1, and flipping that card over, when you're up here talking to people, maintaining a flow of conversation, flipping a card all the way over is way more difficult. Okay? All you have to do, if you've got them like 1, 1, 2, all you got to do to change cards, that's it. Everybody see that? Okay? It's genius, I tell you. It's genius. Somebody taught me that. I used to do it that way too, where I would go 1 and then flip it over. Okay? And then somebody told me, and this was after I'd been doing this for a while. I did not figure that out on my own, believe it or not. Somebody told me, is this, if you put it to where it's 2 and 4 on one card and 1 and 3 on the other, your first card change is just that. Your second card changes there. Your third card change. Otherwise, you're doing this, then you're doing that, and then you're doing that again. Okay? Mm-hmm. So when you gesture, make sure your gestures are fluid. Do not do this when we get a card. The nature and your instinct is going to be to palm your cards. Okay? Everybody see what I'm doing here? Mm-hmm. What does that look like that you're doing to the audience? You're squeezing it. Okay, that's the, what does it look like to your audience, though? Well, it looks like you're hiding your cards. Okay? Well, people will sit there and they will think, I wonder what's on his cards he doesn't want us to see. Second of all, if you're holding them like this, okay, if I'm holding them like this and I want to look at my cards, I can do this and look at my cards. I never have to break the impression of eye contact with the audience. Everybody with me? If I've got them by the bottom corner, and I know people who live a little arch right there, so they know to don't right in there. That's where your thumb's going. Okay. If I'm doing this, I can just continue to gesture. If I've got them palmed, I've got to do this, and you're putting your cards directly in front of your face. Everybody understand that? The other thing you guys are already hinting at: if you're up here and performance apprehension is kicking in, and you've got your cards like this, what's the first thing that's going to happen in the first 15 seconds? And I wish I had a buck for every time I'd seen somebody do that. They go, hey, today I'm here to talk to you about, and then they realize, to preview my main points. Okay? And I've seen somebody that wrote their cards in pencils. Don't ever write your cards in pencil. What happens with pencil?
It smudges.
Smudges. When you crush your cards, it's like, my first main point is, okay? Everybody understand? Hold your cards by the corner. Don't palm them. You'll get yourself in trouble. Okay? Remember that notes should trigger recall. They should not contain text. So in other words, your notes should just be keywords that will give you a key or a cue to what you need to say next. Finally, never put your entire speech on your note cards. Never put your entire speech on your note cards. Never put your entire speech on your note cards. For years and years and years and years, when I was teaching this, I would only allow students to use 3x5 note cards. Okay? The reason for that is I thought if you went up to 4x6, the students would have a tendency to write more. Literally, this semester is the first time I've said, let's try 4x6s. Okay? 5x7s are too big, they interfere, people start staring at your notes. Okay? And there is no need for a 4 to 6 minute speech on a topic that you know and care about that you need that much room. Okay? Everybody understand how we're going to use note cards? Okay. Let's talk about your voice. First thing to know about your characteristic of the voice is the pitch. What's the pitch of your voice?
How high or low?
How high or low? Okay, we've already talked about we make sound by compressing air in our lungs and expelling it through our larynx. Okay? That larynx is tuned just like guitar strings. Okay? And you can loosen your larynx, and it's usually referred to as vocal cords. You can loosen your vocal cords, and you will make, and it will vibrate slower. And if the waves are longer and slower, what happens to the sound?
It gets lower.
It gets deeper. Or you can tighten them, okay? And the waves become faster and shorter, and what happens to the sound? It goes higher, okay? Absolutely correct. We all have a natural range that we fall into. Some people can train their voices. Like Mariah Carey used to have an 8-octave range. Think maybe she's been living too good the last couple of years. Probably not now, but she used to have an 8-octave range. Most people have like a 2 to 3 octave range. Okay, everybody can pitch their voice. Can pitch their voice up and down from sort of a baseline. Sometimes we don't have control over that. Okay, like when you get scared. You know, when somebody jumps out at you from behind a bush, you don't go, oh, wow, that's scary. Oh. What happens? You go, ah! Tom's teaching next door. He'd be yelling at me about how loud I've been. Okay? But your pitch goes up and down. What do we expect from somebody who's talking about something serious?
Low.
We expect them to have a very low-pitched voice. Okay? Do you need to try to change your voice? No, we've got an appropriate range. Everybody in here has an appropriate range. Okay? But you need to be aware of the fact that if you stand up here and you start off with saying, hi, my name is Vic McGinnis, and today I'm here to talk to you about global warming. People are going to go, what the hell's wrong with that guy? Okay? Everybody understand that? So the first quality is pitch. It's literally the tone, the highness or lowness of the voice. This is produced by the vibrations of the larynx or the vocal cords. Second quality, volume. Okay? Everybody knows what volume is, right? It is?
How loud?
It's loudness. Okay? Is it possible to be too loud?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Ask the people in the front row after this lecture. They'll say, it's loud enough. It's possible to be too quiet.
Yes.
Absolutely. We do have some people that have problems with that. Okay? The right thing is, and everybody, again, has a range. Okay? My wife would used to come in. I have an ability. I can be very loud. I know you guys are going to find that surprising. I opened myself up to you, and you crushed me. Okay? But my wife would used to come in. If our kids had done something wrong, she would go, and especially when we were in England and they were just both toddlers, we had a stairway up to the second floor, and my wife would go down, and she would yell for them to come downstairs. And they wouldn't hear her. Okay? So I would go to the bottom of the stairs, and I would just belt out their names, and they would come downstairs. Okay? And just me speaking that loud communicated to them before they got to the kitchen, they were already in trouble. Okay? Everybody has that tone of voice. Okay? Your parents probably had that tone of voice. My kids began to refer to it as the drill sergeant voice before, you know, I need you both in here right now. You know, it's like, and they would. Okay? What?
So,
I did. Well, yeah. Okay, that happens. Okay. The other, but so when we're talking about something, we can lend emphasis to it, not with any gestures, not with any any movement, any words, but just the way the volume we use. Okay? If I'm talking along and I've got something you really need to listen to. Okay? Just by dropping the volume of your voice, people are going to go, excuse what? Okay? And they're going to lean in to try to hear what you're saying. Okay? Next is rate. How do we measure rate?
Look how fast.
Time, that's how fast, but we've already mentioned in this class at least a couple of times.
1 to 10.
I never give anybody this credit for taking a chance. There you go. Okay? I'm one of those guys that when you're filling out the Scantron, never leave a question blank, because you know you're going to get it wrong if you leave it blank. We measure rate in words per minute. Okay? Now, what's a good rate to speak at?
you know how you normally talk? Like slow but not too slow.
For slow but not too slow. There you go. That is the exact scientific measurement that we use. Anybody? We've already said that the average person speaks at about 120 words per minute. For a public speech, what's a good rate? 70? That'd be a little slow. What?
90.
Can I get 125? 125, 125, 125 over here, 130. Okay, it was a trick question. There is no right answer for that. Okay? It's whatever you feel comfortable with, that you feel you're going to be able to properly enunciate and be able to communicate your ideas.
So we're not talking NPR talk show host. We're not talking angry Gordon Ramsay. It's somewhere in the middle.
That's a good.
That is a good, yeah. Hi, this is Clive Summers. Welcome to All Things Considered on National Public Radio. Excuse me, I've got this knitting needle I have to stick in my ear. Okay? Yeah, and no. Some people, the thing I want, you speak at a normal rate. Some of you, and I say this, are going to have to speed your rate up because some of us naturally speak fairly slowly. Okay? I am the opposite. I have to, people, and I never punch anybody, but wow, you're from the South and you speak fast. Because we're all idiots in Alabama. I'm sorry. Thanks for bringing that up. Okay? Some of us, even Southerners sometimes speak, and I have a tendency, when I want to get a point out, I want to get a point across, man, I want to move through it so I get all my ideas together. And I have to be conscious of keeping that slow. One thing I don't want you to remember, whatever you're comfortable with that communicates ideas well, that's fine. Just be prepared to slow down to add emphasis. Or be prepared to speed up, to show excitement, to show energy, to show that this is actually going to do what we've talked about. Okay? Everybody understand that? Okay? So we got pitch, volume, rate. And then there's something that's kind of old school that I throw in there that a lot of books don't. But pitch, rate, and volume doesn't cover everything. Okay? Quality. Everybody's voice, everybody's seeing those voice print analysis things where they say they can identify you and they can run your voice through a computer. Okay, let me tell you this, that's a bunch of crap. There is no program that will pick your voice out of 2 million others. Okay? But everybody's voice is pretty distinct. Okay? That's because if you look at all the things that go into making your voice, from your lungs to your larynx to your hard and soft palate, your teeth, your lips, your tongue, everything is to the size of, just your size of your thoracic cavity. All that factors into giving your voice a very different quality so that it sounds like no other. Okay? I'm not going to go into all the details because literally I've had classes that went on for an entire week about how we develop quality. What I'm going to tell you is be aware of what makes your voice unique. Okay? And use it to your advantage. Okay? Everybody understand that? Some people come in with very high-pitched voices. Some people have a very high rate. Some people have, an ability to vary their pitch. Okay? Just be aware of what your voice brings to the table and be prepared to use it to suit your needs. Okay? Everybody understand that? Okay. So what I'm going to tell you is all that's really nice to know. Focus on variety in order to give emphasis. But what I'm going to tell you is the main thing I want you guys to focus on and I really bring this up for a reason. It's important to what we're about to talk about. Articulation. Okay. What is articulation?
How you start it.
words clearly.
Pronouncing your words clearly. Okay, that's probably the most solid definition. There's a technical definition. Articulating is the act of interrupting the flow of air through your mouth in order to make sounds. Okay? Everybody understand that? Okay? And again, it comes from the use of the tongue, lips, teeth, the hard palate, and the soft palate. Okay? Control of that flow of air through articulation allows us to produce speech. Okay? Now, there are other languages besides English that use different parts more heavily. Okay? Like Arabic and Hebrew and Farsi and what they speak in the Middle East. They will use their throat. There is an actual letter in the Arabic alphabet called kha. Okay? Yeah, believe it or not. Yeah, one of the things you have to do when you learn Arabic is you have to, learn the alphabet. And you learn that there is and there is also it's called ghain. Okay? It uses the throat a lot more. We don't. Okay? But articulation is the interruption of air in order to make sounds. Here's the problem. When we get in a hurry, we stop articulating. So if I walked up to you and said, "Eat yet?" No? No lunch? Okay. Whenever I was dealing with foreign nationals, somebody would walk in and go, "Eat yet?" And all the Americans would go, "No, we're going to go in a minute." And my Romanian captain that worked for me would look over and goes, Victor, what does "eat yet" mean? And I was going like, "Means did you eat yet?" And he'd look at me and go like, What? No, you're kidding with me, right? That's not what that meant. And I went, "No, did you eat? Did you eat yet? Jeet yet? Did you eat? Jeet." And he would look at me like, "That is not a thing. That is not a thing. You think because I'm Romanian, I'm stupid." I mean, it took us a long time to convince him that "jeet yet" really meant a bunch of guys were going over to get dinner. Okay? And you can think of a million. There used to be, anybody ever heard of the company MR Ducks? There used to be a clothing company in Maryland called MR Ducks. MR Ducks.
Oh, Mr. Duck.
MR not. Okay, it was MR, and it was a whole conversation. MR Ducks. MR not. MR Geese. Okay?
No, I get it. M.R. Ducks. M.R. I get it.
I don't get it.
Those are ducks, but
M.R. Ducks. M.R. Like you, they are ducks. They are geese.
southern.
You've never seen, okay, it's just,
Those are
if you
ducks.
start with, if you take,
Them are ducks. Them are geese.
them are ducks,
Them are ducks.
them are ducks, them are not. Now you get it, everybody get it?
I got it.
Okay, yay. Okay? All right, so the thing about it, now, let me say, I'm not talking about a regional accent. Okay? I know a lot of people get really freaked out and they will tell you, get rid of your regional accent. Back in 1979, when I was going to go to work in radio and thought that being a disc jockey would be the coolest job you could ever have, I was told I had to get rid of my southern accent. and I get my Southern accent back when I get angry, or I've had a couple of beers. You guys, I'm not advocating alcohol consumption. Let me say that right now. I'm not saying you cannot have a regional accent, okay? What I'm saying is you need to speak words. And you don't need to get so fast when your rate doesn't need to get so fast that you wind up mispronouncing words. Like athlete. Okay? The word is athlete, not athlete. There's no second A in athlete. Everybody understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Especially. Especially. That's not a word. Okay? The word is especially. Okay? Now a lot of people are going, wait a minute. Is special. Yeah, okay? Government.
That's kind of
Or
southern.
government. Okay?
That's a little southern though.
I'm not arguing that point, but if you start changing the words to the point where people don't understand you,
Oh, true.
okay? If you start, and it was articulation was the answer.
Oh, that's a big
Did
word.
you eat yet?
Did you eat
Did you eat yet?
Did you eat
No.
yet?
Okay? I'm glad that you picked that up right off. I appreciate that. That was, she was probably just going with it, probably a yes, no answer. I'll just say no. Let's see what happens next. Okay, but you did pick it up.
Oh no, I caught it as soon as I read it.
All right, there you go. Okay? But if you're going to start mispronouncing words, be careful of that. Also, there is a concept of assimilation. And in case y'all wonder, during my life I have been trained in Arabic, Russian, German, and English. What the hell is wrong with you? I don't normally call out students in class, but what? That's why I put a capital L in the middle of things, because just don't talk, okay? When I say I appreciate a free flow of ideas in my classroom, not you, okay? All right? Don't assimilate words like Jeep. Okay, don't run two words together and make them one word. All right? Satin. Okay? Satin.
It's happening.
I'm in class.
Well, I'm in classes, hanging out. Okay? Yeah. Sup. Okay? Well, that made some of y'all laugh. I don't know what, Okay? Don't assimilate words. Keep them separate as distinct words. That isn't, I'm not saying don't use contractions. In fact, I just used a contraction. Did everybody notice that?
Yeah.
Yes, but don't run words together and make new words. Okay? Everybody with that?
Yeah.
Okay, something else we need to talk about. It's not exactly the voice, but you need to be aware of it. The vocalized pause. The vocalized pause is where you take a second of dead air and when you're transitioning between ideas or at the end of a sentence and you feel like I'm giving a public speech, I have to be making sound with my mouth all the time.
You talking about
I'm talking about I'm talking about ideally. I knew somebody that would start every sentence with the word ideally. And ideally, you can use that word. Ideally, though, if you overuse it, ideally you're going to have some problems with that, okay? And it was just like, ahs, you know, but, what? Like, okay? Literally. First of all, that's a misuse of the word. Literally, my head exploded. I don't think it did. Okay? But I mean, everybody understand what I'm talking about. When you feel like you're just going to pause, you need to fill in the blank with some sort of noise because you're actually public speaking, so people expect you to. No, they don't. They don't expect you to talk all the time. People expect you to take a break and think about what you're going to say next. Okay? Y'all talk to people or seen people give speeches like that?
Diarrhea of the mouth.
I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, sure. Okay?
Just rolls out.
All right? But how do you feel like when you're watching somebody who all the time is constantly making noise and never seems to take a breath and just constantly keeps talking all the time, and you never how are you re-engaging them as an audience?
Anxiety.
Yeah, you start getting really nervous. Okay? You start and then when you start getting when a speaker starts making you nervous, what is your reaction?
Shut down.
Where's the bomb?
I can't figure out what the hell they're talking about because they never stop talking, so I'm just shutting it down.
Either that, or I feel like sometimes I get bored with the conversation or the speech because I don't have the confidence in them when they're saying a lot. Like
Okay.
They don't know what they're talking about.
And remember when we talked about you've got to give a framework for people to hang your facts on. If you're just blasting through, constantly talking, never once pausing, how do we know when you're transitioning? I mean, if you had a little sign that said new paragraph, okay, like you do when you're writing, that'd be one thing. Yeah, just have that little two-thing P, stick it up. Okay, if you get all of those things, main point number 2, okay? But you need to pause, so be aware of vocalized pauses. Okay? How much time we got? We got 8 minutes. Can I get through this? I can get through this. Okay. So let's talk about your physical behavior. First thing we're going to talk about. Your physical behavior is going to communicate whether or not you're comfortable up here, whether or not you're scared, whether or not you feel confident, whether or not, you will communicate your internals through your externals. Okay? First thing. Eye contact. Do you have to make eye contact with your audience?
Yeah.
No, you don't. You have to appear to make eye contact with your audience.
Right.
Okay? Now, all these people are going to give you all these things. Imagine your audience naked. Look at this in forehead. Okay. Yeah. The heck with that. I'm going to do you guys a favor. You see a little mark right there?
Oh my gosh.
Stop. Report me there, Sparky.
Still there.
Okay? I don't care. See that mark? Okay? If I stand up here, and for the hybrid class, it's the 7th center block up. If I look at that mark, and I follow that mark all the way around, okay? And if I follow it all the way to the back of the class, and I follow it all the way around the room, and I pick up that same rough mark here in the back of the classroom, and I keep looking around the room, 85 or 90% of the people are going to think I just made eye contact with them. Okay? It's a true story. Through a long series of events, in 1998, I got to go to the opening of the new National Museum of Scotland in Edinburgh. Found out about 2 weeks before it happened that it was going to the official opening. I was a member of an organization that donated a ton of money to the museum. And I just happened to be there. And we found out about 2 weeks before that the museum was going to be opened by Queen Elizabeth. So we're sitting in there in this room with about 100 other people. It's a little bit bigger than this. It's about maybe 8 feet further back. And this is literally the landed aristocracy of Scotland, and they are talking crap about the Queen. I mean, they are just slagging her off like you wouldn't believe. And I mean, and it's just kind of weird to hear that they're talking about, oh yeah, I went to Gordonston with Prince Philip and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like sitting there going, looking at my wife going, we're frauds, be quiet, okay? Because we really, it's kind of weird that we were there. But so they form a big U. It's maybe 25, 30 feet long. And there's people around the U. And she comes in and everybody gets really quiet. And I'm standing there next to my wife. We're one row back from the edge. And I'm like looking at her. And then I see something over in the corner of my eye. And I look over across the way. And as you look down that line of people on the other side of that opening, you can literally see people's behavior changing.
Once you looked at them.
Well, I mean, suddenly people are standing up straighter. You can tell the former military guys are all coming to a position of attention. And I'm like sitting there going, and it was just moving down the way. And I like leaned over to my wife and I said, "Do you see that?" And she goes, "Yeah, look at the podium." And I looked up, and the Queen is like just looking down the line, appearing, and it just went all the way around. And then I saw it coming up this way, And then I looked up to her, and I was looking at her just as she got to her, and I will tell you that I had been standing there with kind of my hands in front of me. I put, I literally physically felt different. Okay? Now, did she make eye contact with me?
Probably not.
I have no idea. Can't answer that question one way or the other. Did it appear to me that she was making eye contact with me? Absolutely. Did it, it was literally just changed the way I felt. Literally. In that case, it's used properly. Thank you very much. Okay? Just that eye contact made a huge difference. Okay? Next is going to be posture. We've already discussed this over and over. Posture, feet shoulder width apart, head up, back straight, arms away from in front of you. Okay? A lot of people didn't. This. What are you doing when you do this?
Closing yourself off.
You're closing. You literally are protecting. Literally, you're protecting your that part. Okay. What are you doing when you do this?
Protecting your heart.
You're protecting your chest. Okay. That's a defensive position. This is a defensive position. What is this?
Played with.
2 times when you get put in this position.
You go to jail.
Going to jail and in a public speech. That is a submissive position that says, I am so overwhelmed by this, I quit. I surrender to you. Okay? So your gestures should be up and out front. Okay? Try not to bond your hands together. Okay, well, then there's gestures. I've already moved into that. Okay? The go-to gesture, if you don't know what else to do, is it okay to put your one hand in your pocket? Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Oh, it is. Just get rid of your keys and your change. Because I have seen people come up here and give a speech with change in their pocket, and it was like Christmas all over again. Jingle bells, jingle bells. Okay? Get rid of the change. It's okay to put your hand in your pocket, just don't leave it there indefinitely. This is not okay. Okay? Hooking your thumb in your pants pocket, not okay. People will focus. I don't know why that freaks people out so much, but studies have shown over and over again, just hooking your finger in your pants like that will focus people's attention on your hand. Okay? Doing this, okay. Doing this, not. Everybody see that? Don't know why. Okay? I'm sure there's some explanation for it. But hand in your pocket, cards comfortably held. Just a simple gesture. You guys gesture all the time. I've watched you. And then if you're really feeling nervous, keep your hand by your side. You're in your first main point, you go, now for my second main point, okay, it's just that easy. You're going to have a tendency to do this, okay, that's fine, okay. The research has shown that for females, this is a tendency to be a more comfortable position. I'm okay with that, okay. Just don't, and you'll see me separate on your comment sheet, it'll be separate the hands. The problem is much like the lectern, when you touch that card with the second hand, it completes the circuit and the magnet is set. Okay? And you'll be sitting there gesturing like, and I have seen people go, now my second main point is, and that just looks goofy. Okay? Everybody understand that? Thing to remember about movements, very important. Okay? All movements should be motivated. All movements should be motivated. Okay? Is that a motivated gesture? No, that's not a motivated gesture. Okay?
Nervous or
Is this a motivated gesture?
no.
That's just nerves. Okay? I'm showing you things I've seen in speeches. Is that a motivated gesture?
No.
Okay. Last thing, I got 10 seconds. Clothes. Clothes are part of nonverbal communications. I am going to tell you that we don't have a clothing standard for this class. There are colleges where they say you have to wear a coat and tie or a dress to give a speech. I'm not going to go by that. What I'm going to tell you is that if it's going to bother you that you're wearing it, don't wear it. I mean, clearly don't wear anything offensive. Try not to wear anything with printing on it because we'll spend more time reading what's written on your shirt than listening to your speech. Okay? But if you've got, I would recommend you not wear shorts. Okay? And the reason is, that if your leg starts doing that, it stands out more if we can actually see your kneecap jumping up and down, okay? But if you're up here wearing ripped up jeans and you suddenly get very self-conscious about how ripped up your jeans are, and maybe this wasn't the best idea, okay? What are you going to be focused on?
Ripped up jeans.
Ripped up jeans. Okay. Last thing, when I went to a job interview up in D.C., I was supposed to get a day and then come in and do the job interviews the next morning, so I wore my comfy airplane clothes, okay? If I'm going into the side of a mountain at 600 miles an hour, I'm not going to be wearing a tie and I'm not going to be drinking Diet Coke. That's just my rule in life. So I go walking in where I'm supposed to check in and get my hotel room. They're going, "Oh, Mr. McInnes, it's only 2:30. We've got you set up for your first interview." And I'm wearing an old polo shirt and a pair of cargo pants. And I'm like going, okay. They ushered me in and I did the interview. For my first words were, this is not the way I dress for an interview. They said, "Don't worry about it." What did I worry about for that entire interview?
Yeah.
What I had on. It was what I was focused on. I got the job, so apparently that worked out okay. But that was one of the worst experiences I've had in that sort of a communication environment in years. Okay? All right. We'll take this back up on Monday, talk about informative speeches. I will be sending you a link to an informative speech. Please watch it over the weekend so we can discuss it on Monday.